and please repeat after me. Vedeshu yaggeshu tapasu chaiva. Hare Krishna.
Vedeshu Yagneshu Tapashu Cheva.
Daneshu yat punyafalam pradishtam.
Daneshu Yat Punya Phalam Pradeshtam.
Atyeti tat sarvam idam viditva.
Atyete Tat Sarvam Idam Videtvam.
Yogi param sthanamupayiti chadyam.
Yogi Param Stam Upeti Chadam.
Read the translation also.
Translation: a person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all these, and at the end, he reaches the supreme eternal abode.
Go ahead with the purport.
Purport. This verse is the summation of the 7th and 8th chapters, which particularly deal with Krishna consciousness and devotional service. One has to study the Vedas under the guidance of the spiritual master and undergo many austerities and penances whilst living under his care. A brahmachari has to live in the house of a spiritual master, just like a servant, and he must beg alms from door to door and bring them to the spiritual master. He takes food only under the master's order, and if the master neglects to call the student for food that day, the student fasts. These are some of the Vedic principles for observing brahmacharya. After the student studies the Vedas under the master for some time, at least from the age 5 to 20, he becomes a man of perfect character. Study of the Vedas is not meant for the recreation of armchair speculators, but for the formation of character. After this training, the brahmachari is allowed to enter into the household life and marry. When he is a householder, he has to perform many sacrifices so that he may achieve further enlightenment. He must also give charity according to the country, time, and candidate, discriminating amongst charity in goodness, in passion, and in ignorance, as described in the Bhagavad Gita. Then, after retiring from household life upon accepting the order of Vanaprastha, he undergoes severe penances, living in the forest, dressing with tree bark, not shaving, etc. By carrying out the orders of the Brahmacharya, householder life, Vanaprastha, and finally sannyasa, one becomes elevated to perfectional stage of life. Some are then elevated to the heavenly kingdoms, and when they become even more advanced, they are liberated in the spiritual sky, either in the impersonal Brahma Jyoti or in the Vaikuntha planes or Krishna Loka. This is the path outlined by Vedic literatures. The beauty of Krishna consciousness, however, is that by one stroke, by engaging in devotional service, one can surpass all the rituals of the different orders of life. The words idam vidatva indicate that one should understand the instructions given by Sri Krishna in this chapter and the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. One should try to understand these chapters not by scholarship or mental speculation, but by hearing them in association with devotees. Chapters 7 through 12 are the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. The first 6 and the last 6 chapters are like the coverings for the middle 6 chapters, which are especially protected by the Lord. If one is fortunate enough to understand the Bhagavad Gita, especially these middle 6 chapters, in the association of devotees, then his life at once becomes glorified, beyond all penances, sacrifices, charities, speculations, etc. For one can achieve all the results of these activities simply by Krishna consciousness. One who has a little faith in the Bhagavad Gita should learn the Bhagavad Gita from a devotee, because in the beginning of the 4th chapter, it is stated clearly that the Bhagavad Gita can be understood only by devotees. No one else can perfectly understand the purpose of the Bhagavad Gita, and one should therefore learn the Bhagavad Gita from a devotee of Krishna, not from mental speculators. This is a sign of faith. When one searches for a devotee and fortunately gets a devotee's association, one actually begins to study and understand the Bhagavad Gita. By advancement in the association of the devotee, one is placed in devotional service, and this service dispels all one's misgivings about Krishna or God and Krishna's activities, form, pastimes, name, and other features. After these misgivings have been perfectly cleared away, one becomes fixed in one's study. Then one relishes the study of the Bhagavad Gita and attains this state of feeling always Krishna conscious. In the advanced stage, one falls completely in love with Krishna. This highest perfectional stage of life enables the devotee to be transferred to Krishna's abode in the spiritual sky, Goloka Vrindavan, where the devotee becomes eternally happy. This ends the Bhaktivedanta purport for the eighth chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of attaining the Supreme.
Yeah. So any reflection? Anybody has? Beautiful purport. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, so my reflection is like uh, the association is one of the biggest factors for truly understanding. Everyone can read and kind of get some understanding, but association is how you get full understanding.
Oh, very good point. Sometimes when we read Gita alone, one on one, that is good. We and me Gita, that is also nice. But in association devotee, you understand things much, much better actually. That's true. Of course, one thing is that Prabhupada Bhagavad Gita, you get association of Prabhupada also. That way you are always gaining. That is always there. At the same time, but when we come in the loving association of devotees, because Prabhupada himself is saying that one should seek out the association of devotees. For that purpose only he has created ISKCON and so many devotees are there. One should seek that association, and that association one should actually discuss the glories of the Lord. That's very important. So this verse actually is very beautiful. So this is it's like summation of 7th and 8th chapter, which deals with Krishna consciousness and devotion service. So the superiority of the devotees has been previously stated. It is made clear in this chapter. As well as in this chapter, the supreme position of the Ananya Bhakta among all types of devotees has been indicated. The yogi surpasses all results of all austerities, like Vedic rites and rituals. So, like going to Swarga or observing by observing celibacy, one can go to Swarga and heavenly kingdoms and all that, doing sacrifice, austerity, etc. So the yogi, the devotee of the Lord surpasses all that. So knowing the glories of the Lord, the devotee, by the mercy of devotee association, so he considers all other activities as insignificant as grass. So Ramanujacharya says in his commentary on this verse, he says that for immense joy arising from the knowledge of Lord's greatness in chapter 7 and 8, he regards all the results as negligible, as a straw. No other results, whatever one may get. And then he says that yogi, having become devoted to me, attains my abode, which is without beginning and real, param. And Srila Prabhupada is writing, you can see here, the beauty of Krishna consciousness, however, is that by one stroke, by engaging in devotional service, one can surpass all the rituals of the different orders of life. So this is the Ananya Bhakta. So, the Parinishchita Bhakti Bhakta, rather than the Yoga Mishra Bhakta, which is being discussed before. Always how the yogi should leave the body so that he can attain the elevated position or comes back. So Baldev Bhushan says Krishna can be attained only through unalloyed bhakti. The Amsa of Krishna, the Purusha, is obtained by Bhakti Mishra Yoga through the path of light. But Krishna himself is attained only through unalloyed bhakti. So one may not get the highest abode of the Lord and personal association of Krishna, through this this kind of yoga methods which Krishna described before. So to attain Goloka, the Supreme Lord Krishna association, that is only thing is required is another devotion. Then only it is possible. Because that was Bhakti Mishra Yoga, which was described before. So he may have devotion, but at the same time, he is more and depending upon his own endeavor. So there is some yoga taint there. It's mainly yoga, little bhakti is there. So Prabhupada says, brahmachari life. So first thing is about Swadhyaya, brahmachari life. So study the Vedas under the guidance of spiritual master. The study of the Vedas is not meant for recreation or armchair speculators, but for the formation of character. So all our Vedic study should form our character. That day we were discussing with, Arif, you remember we were discussing something about application. Can you share?
Yeah, so I think in 16th chapter, Prabhupada writes in one purport that knowledge without application, the person who does that is shown to be the lowest of mankind.
Somehow your voice is not so clear, Arif. I don't know why.
I'm like outside right now, so.
Yeah, can you speak again?
Yeah, so Prabhupada says in 16th chapter purport that knowledge without application, the person who does that is lowest of mankind.
Knowledge, he takes the knowledge, but he's not applying without application. Prabhupada says the lowest of mankind. So we have to become, that should form the character. No? The study of the Vedas should form our character. Sometimes there may be people who will learn Vedas, but they are still smoking BD or having illicit connections with women. So that kind of thing is not acceptable. It is not proper. In fact, that is condemned. So one should apply also. And some people may not be doing wrong thing, but they're not applying to progress also. That is also not considered good. So when we read, we have to also apply. We should try to apply the knowledge in our practical ways. How can I practically apply this knowledge? We have to think. So Tapasya undergo many austerities and penances while living under his care, under Guru's care. So our austerities are all devotional austerities. We do all that to please Guru, to please Krishna. What is required, we do that. To be able to chant and read and hear, to become more Krishna conscious. So we do austerities under the guidance of Guru. Seva, dasavat nicho, live in the home of the spiritual master just like a servant. Beg alms from door to door and bring them to the spiritual master. Take food only under the master's order. Fast for the day if the master neglects to call. If the student studies Veda under spiritual master from age 5 to 20, then one becomes a man of perfect character. So another thing is that it is applicable even for Grahasthas also. It is not that only brahmachari is the mean a servant of Guru. Grahasthas also should think like that they are also mean a servant of Guru. Only thing is their external arrangement may be a little different. But they are also supposed to think like that only. And for householder life, yajna, to perform many sacrifices so that one may achieve further enlightenment. And dana, give charity according to country, time, candidate, discriminating among charity and goodness in passion and ignorance as given in Bhagavad. So yajna dana is very important for household life. Yeah. So yajna dana. So yeah. So why? So dana is also very important, no? Because the money which Grahastha earns, so it doesn't get sanctified if you don't give it for Krishna conscious cause. So that is a charity in mode of goodness or pure goodness. When you give it to for Krishna conscious purposes to Vaishnavas, to the temples, when you give ISKCON temple, specifically I'm saying because sometimes there may be temples, maybe simply may not be using it properly sometimes, no? Especially some demigod temples and all, they may not be utilizing it properly sometimes. So you have to see, that how your money should go for propagating Krishna consciousness. That way one should also give some charity. That is charity in mode of goodness, like that. So, the principle is that it should be used for propagating Krishna consciousness, for enhancing Krishna consciousness of individual and collectively, like that. And Vanprastha life, After retiring from household life, except Vanprastha, undergo severe penances, living in forest, dressing with tree bark, not shivering, etc. Now, we may not do that all, but we follow the principle of simplicity. Vanprastha life is a life of simplicity. And sannyasa, by doing, one become elevated to perfection state of life. So one may attain heavenly kingdom and all that by performing, by doing sannyasa nicely. Liberation, spiritual sky, and all that may happen if somebody is more advanced. He may go to Brahma Jyoti or Vaikuntha or even Krishna Loka. But we depend on devotional service. So Shraddha to Sadhu Sangha. One has a little faith in Gita, should learn Gita from a devotee, Prabhupada is saying. See. And at the beginning, fourth chapter, mentioned that Bhagavad Gita can be understood only by devotees perfectly. No one else can. So when I should learn Bhagavad Gita from a devotee of Krishna, not from mental speculators. There's so many mental speculators coming in YouTube and all. We have to be careful. We should hear the Gita from devotees. Very, very important. So by advancement association of the devotees, one is placed in devotional service, and service dispels all one's misgivings. It's amazing, right? Achha, before that, when one searches for a devotee and fortunately gets a devotee association, one actually begins to study and understand Gita. So when you get a devotee association, then you can actually start understanding Bhagavad Gita nicely. And by advancement association of devotees, one is placed in devotional service, and this service dispels all one's misgivings. So when you start doing services, then slowly your anarthas will go away. And then you will understand Krishna and his activities and form, pastimes, other features also. And then after these misgivings have been perfectly cleared away, one becomes fixed in one's study. And then one relishes the study of Bhagavad Gita, and then attains the state of feeling always Krishna consciousness. And in the advanced stage, one falls completely in love with Krishna. See, Prabhupada explaining all this. So in this, this highest professional stage of life enables the devotee to be transferred to Krishna's abode in the spiritual sky, Golokanda. And Prabhupada also is saying one should understand these chapters by hearing in devotee association, not by mental speculation. And he's saying that first and last 6 chapters, coverings, which are especially protected by the Lord. If one is fortunate enough to understand Bhagavad Gita, especially these middle 6 chapters in the association of devotees, then his life at once becomes glorified beyond all penances, sacrifices, charities, speculation, etc. So these middle 6 chapters are called the crest jewel because it is like is bhakti yoga, directly being addressed, and the jnana, with more of jnana yoga and with more of karma yoga is being told like in the beginning 6 chapters and the last 7 chapters, 6 chapters. So karma yoga and jnana yoga, and then in middle it is bhakti yoga. Of course, Krishna has put the bhakti yoga all throughout also. But the focus bhakti yoga you find middle 6 chapters. So that's why it is the most important section. And which is the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. And then he says, yeah, so that's so if one is fortunate enough to understand Gita, especially these middle 6 chapters in the association of devotee, then his life at once becomes glorified beyond all penances, sacrifices, charities, speculation, etc. One may not have to go undergo all that. One can easily understand this by understanding middle 6 chapter very nicely. So that way he says. And then let's see what Bhujan Prabhu says. So he's saying this was summarizes chapter 7, 8 by describing Supreme Bhujan to Bhakti. At the end of the chapter, we heard that devotees are greater than ascetics, tapasvis, jnanis, and karmis. This verse clarifies that point by explaining how a devotee is best. By his devotion, a devotee automatically gains the results of all other paths, even without desiring them. More importantly, how a devotees enter into the spiritual world. Srila Prabhupada places the 2 chapters in the context of Gita Bhagavad Gita. Words idam iditva indicate that one should understand the instruction given by Sri Krishna in this chapter and the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Okay. This 2 chapter in the context of the entire Gita, Prabhupada explains like that. Any reflection, final? Anybody wants to share? Yes. Anyone? Mohit, you want to just reflect some point on? Mohit Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I joined a little bit late, but
No problem.
what I understood was that this was like the end of chapter 8,
Hmm.
and I didn't really understand the full Shiksha today.
But what you could not understand?
No, like what's the chapter? Like what is the words about?
Okay, so verse is saying the person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying all this. See, doing study of Vedas, performing sacrifice, doing tapasya, giving charity, pursuing philosophical activities. So, a person who performs devotional service, he automatically gets the benefit of all other things. Understood, no? So, bhakti yogi gets the benefit of all those who are doing other things. Plus, he also additionally gets more benefited because he is doing devotional service to Krishna. So he gets the highest benefit actually, and he doesn't misses out also the what results other processes are also offering. So simply by performing devotional service, he attains all these, and at the end he reaches the supreme eternal abode. So that's why bhakti yoga should be performed, right? Why one should get into all these different varieties of. So now we may do also austerities. We may also perform sacrifices. So our sacrifice is Harinam Sankirtan. Our study of the Vedas is reading Gita and Bhagavatam. Our undergoing austerities, devotional austerities, like we get up early in the morning, like all of you are getting up in the morning and you're joining for chanting, and then you're reading, and we're discussing. Giving charity, we give the portion of our income to Krishna conscious purposes. We do that. That's how our money is sanctified. And we pursue philosophical and fruitive. No, we don't do that. We only pursue the philosophical knowledge of Krishna consciousness, which is given by bona fide acharyas. And we don't perform fruitive activities. We perform all the activities for the pleasure of Krishna, not for some material gain. So our job, our daily chores, everything we do for purpose of attaining Krishna consciousness. So that's a bhakti yoga paradigm of all these things. So one doesn't have to externally or extraneously focus on all this austerities and sacrifices just for some kind of material gain. So like somebody may study Veda just for some getting heavenly planets. Somebody may perform sacrifices just for getting some kind of material benefits. Undergoing austerity just so that he can get more and more detached from false ego and get liberated, without devotion, without attaining the Supreme Lords, without attaining the love of God. So we don't do all that. So we don't give this charity to get some kind of piety so that we can have better standard of material life. So yes, got the point, no, Prabhu?
Yes, sir, Prabhuji. So it's multiple paths to Krishna consciousness, not devotional service is one path, and then there are other paths as well, like performing the Vedas, sacrifices, and the going austerity. But devotional service is more direct path. It makes sense.
Yeah, correct. And all the benefits of other paths in devotional service, you anyway get it. You don't have to extensively get into that. Like you tell me, all the gain is there if somebody performs devotion because you get a abode of the Lord. And abode of the Lord, is much better than heavenly planets also. The result is there automatically. Correct, no? And giving charity to Krishna conscious purpose is the highest piety. What is the piety you actually get, truly benefited by getting association of Krishna. Kritakanya Punja. You can see how the Gopas who are dancing with Krishna, playing with Krishna, they have done so much of piety. So, but that piety is not some kind of mundane piety to get some material results. The highest result one gets. So that's why performing devotional service is the highest thing, and one gets the benefit of all other doing any other things also. Chatumai Mataji, you wanted to share something. I saw you tried to unmute, but yeah, please, you can go ahead. You want to share something?
Haribol, just good morning, everyone. Just grateful to be listening to this wonderful summarization of the two chapters. That really struck me. This is the potency of devotional service is that you don't have to cover all these other bases of so-called obligations in your life. If we simply become pure devotees, all other obligations are covered. So what a comfort is that? Prabhu.
Thank you. Very good. Very nice. It's like eloquently you spoke. Truth spoken concisely. So very nicely you spoke that this is the potency of devotion service. All other things, we may keep doing, but if we can just focus on devotional service wholeheartedly, we do it. We don't worry about anything. We are not obliged for anything. That's true. Very good. At the same time, a devotee sees, I mean to say, what you're saying is perfectly correct. At the same time, devotee does not give reasons, does not give justifications to not do certain duties within Krishna consciousness in the name of that. I'm just focusing on my chanting. I'm just focusing on serving my guru in such some particular way, and that is true. That is true. But at the same time, what I'm saying is one has to wholeheartedly follow the instructions of guru in a full, in fullness. No, it's not like we just catch one aspect and neglect the instructions in another aspect. Overall, we have to follow the guru also. So devotee, so devotee is not like trying to justify. I don't know whether Mata, you're able to get my point, what I'm trying to say, and you can correct me in case I'm going here and there. But what I'm trying to say is that sometimes some devotees, may kind of being neglectful to some aspects, and may justify. So that kind of thing sometimes we have to be careful about. So yes, we have to follow devotion. We have to focus on devotion. And devotion is very important. At the same time, a devotee is, like say somebody says, "Oh, I just simply chant Hare Krishna. I don't have to do any service in the temple. Or I don't I don't follow in these neophyte authorities, something like that. Or I don't have to get up in the morning and come for
Oh,
Hari.
yes, we have so many services to cover.
Yeah,
In fact, I feel that the more we advance on this path, the more responsibility we're given.
yeah, correct. Yeah, yes. So like that, correct. And like somebody will say, no, I'm simply dedicating my life to Krishna, so I don't have to, purify my income by giving some charity to Krishna consciousness. I think I don't have to do that. So sometimes one may justify, I'm anyway chanting, I don't need. So actually, as we are, so devotional service is actually not just some kind of what we like and what we don't like. It's an act of surrender. So when we are surrendering, then we are surrendering to Guru and Krishna wholeheartedly. So all aspects gets included there. So we also like offer bhoga, and then only we take prasadam. So we follow that. Same way we give the hard-earned money for the service of Krishna. We do that. We do our we follow the rules and regulations given by the acharyas. We do that. So we don't justify certain injunctions in the name of, oh, I'm just chanting, I'm just focusing on devotion. Am I correct, Mataji?
You have some very good points there, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Arya Prabhu, you have any points? Okay, Arya Prabhu left out. Okay, let us pause here then. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakti ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare.